It is raining cats and dogs outside, and I have to be delayed from getting back home to drive home. So what we will be doing is we will be going to reacting to some short video, I hope, inshallah, and here goes. So this video is titled Common Misconceptions about Islam. So I'm interested to know what common misconception is listed in this video. The video is not long, it's 1 minute 35 seconds. So I'm not sure how many misconception that the video can pack into that 1 minute and 35 seconds. But without further ado, let's go. Is this a myth? Muslim woman must cover up? I thought covering the aura is not a myth, right? It's part of the religion. That's my understanding as a Muslim. So let's see what is this myth. Covering the body is not required by Islam. Is it not? Okay. We'll go through the whole story here, but if you ask any Muslim, any practicing Muslim that knows the religion, right, we know that covering the body to a certain extent, I'm not sure if they say covering the body is to cover the whole body. I'm not sure, but this is applied, meaning covering the body, covering the aura basically, which is part of our body, a portion of our body, is obligatory to men and women. Of course, the limit and the boundary and the how much we have to cover, which part we have to cover, is different between men and women. But we have to cover some part of our body. We cannot go out without any clothing at all. In our birthday suit, we cannot as a Muslim, right? So we have to cover. So I'm not sure what this myth is. Covering the body is not required by Islam. Okay, so here it's give the statistic of burkas, those women who wear burkas, but burka is just this covering, I think, right? And yeah, if we are talking about that, then yeah, it's not the jumhur, the majority does not consider this as a wajib, as an obligation, right? You can wear it if you want, for additional guarding, etc., but it's not compulsory. So if the actually the myth is Muslim have to cover with the burqa, then I would agree that it is not majority, is not compulsory in that sense. But I'm not sure is that a myth, because I'm not sure if all non-Muslim assume that Muslim have to wear burqas. I do not know that. If many non-Muslim assume that way, then it's a myth, right? But I think most of them think that Muslim women have to cover the head scarf, and for that it's not a myth, right? It's you have to cover the aura, including the hair, basically. So veil and burqa. So if this number one myth is focusing on veil and burqas, just the whole thing there, then I would agree. But because the statement it give in the beginning is Muslim have to cover up, but we have to cover. Okay, this is not compulsory, meaning if I don't have this clothes here, it's still allowable, it's still permissible, but meaning my trousers, my pants, right? If I do not wear anything, go out, that's not permissible, right? So I have to cover up to a certain limit as a man also. Of course, for a woman, the limit is more, and we can talk about it in a separate video on aura, inshallah, if anyone is interested. okay, I see this point, but just an additional point. I don't think we should evaluate the religion based on the practice of certain countries, etc. Because even if it is a Muslim majority country, certain policies that they have might not be a true representative of the religion itself, the teaching itself, right? So we have to be careful with that, I think.
I can't trust Obama. He's an Arab.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
I I was thinking that the means number two is Obama is a Muslim, or but it's not. Okay, Muslim and it's equal to Arab, right? So do people do think about this? Meaning, um, okay, going back to the myth number two, right? I'm assuming there are a lot of people when they think about Islam, they think about Arab, right? Especially those who do not live among Muslim, right? So it's easy to get that mental picture, I think. However, I think if even among Muslim, right, when we talk about Islam in history, normally without realizing it, we think of Arab also. I'm not sure. I cannot say what I say is representative of all Muslim, but I think many of my friend, I think would testify that when we go throughout the Islamic history, and now it's going to be history in myth number three, but Islamic history, we have many figures that stand out, right? Salahuddin Al-Ayyubi, Muhammad Al-Fatih, etc. And if you ask them to picture, most probably many Muslim children or even adults will think of an Arab, while they are not, right? Many of Muslim figure, of course, some of the figure, right? If you know about Ash-Shafi'i, Hanafi, Ambali, this is the mazhab, right? And the Imam that brought that mazhab to light, etc. Not all of them are from one single ethnic group, right? So but from us, because we do not know these people individually, we just know the name, and most probably most of us Muslim will picture an Arab without realizing it, right? So that does not just apply to the non-Muslim. Perhaps some Muslim also, when they heard of a certain even the Sahaba, even the companion of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, most of us will think of all of them are Arab, while they are not all of them are Arab. I think the only one that we know for sure, most Muslim know for sure, that is not Arab is Bilal, because we know for sure what is his skin color and where he's from, right? But many of the other Sahaba from different place in the world, we just assume they are Arab, right? So I think it's important for us Muslim also, to not just pointing finger to others. Why do you think Muslim are Arab, when we ourselves have never thought of, wait a minute, are they all of the Sahaba Arab? Because we just assume, right? So we have the same assumption, us and the non-Muslim, just that perhaps their misassumption have more significant implication in nowadays world, perhaps. So anyway, going to this third myth. Okay, so the way they dispel that myth is by what Muslim believe in terms of evolution. That is interesting. How is believing in evolution a yardstick or a litmus test on dark ages? Or is it a litmus test? Is it meaning for those who do not think evolution is real, is stuck in the dark age? Is that a thing? Okay, this point is a very good point for those who are unaware of this, and I'm not just talking about non-Muslim, but I do notice that many Muslim youngsters also do not know history to know that Islam or Muslim, practicing Muslim back then, have brought a lot to this world, including many things that we are enjoying. Some of it, many of it, fruit from those Muslim back then, exploring and advancing the sciences, etc., right? So that's one thing. So when we tell the youngsters of this history, many of them like meaning just open their eyes and just to know these things. So if we cannot really, meaning among Muslim also, we do not know these things. So I don't think we should blame the non-Muslim for not knowing this, the history of this world and what's the contribution of Muslim back then, right? So education is important, basically, right? So yeah, that's the shockingly common misconception about Islam. So yeah, there's 3 within that 1.5 minutes. Interesting. So I have shared my response and reaction there. To the first myth, I'm not sure, is it the wording just to grab to make it more shocking, because if it just specified on the veil and niqab, then I don't understand. But I do not think many non-Muslim believe that Muslim women are compulsory to have niqab. I don't think, unless what they see of Islam is just the image from the Middle East, right? So perhaps they might think that one. Is it the thing? I'm not sure. If you are coming from a country that where Muslim is very minority there, which the image of Muslim woman is only from Middle East, hence you see all this niqab woman, and you think that is compulsory for all women. If you are not from that scenario, if you have seen Muslim women, many of them do not wear niqab, I think. So I do not know if that is a valid myth. But anyway, so yeah, it's already dark outside, meaning that Maghrib is about, or just it's just Maghrib. So I have to pray Maghrib, and hopefully inshallah after that the rain will slow down and I can actually go back home. This is just my satellite office. I have some meeting just now, so we have to go back home because there's a program after this. Thank you for watching. Do like, comment, subscribe and whatever, and we will see you soon inshallah in the next video.